So we have a tendency to judge that word where there isn't any judgment necessary. So if that word doesn't work for you, you can use the word hoped, wanted. I hoped for this, I wanted this, I believed for this, to the point of an expectation. And when those things don't come through, right, then we're processing what next. So I believe that the Lord wants to invite us to step out of our dominant place of perceiving, whatever that is, and start to hear and have a conversation in the other places. So for many of you, if you are totally disconnected, or you think you are because you're not ever actually totally disconnected, but you feel or think that you're disconnected from your gut or your instinct area, becoming aware of your body is a way of reconnecting with gut instinct. In fact, all the meditations that you can find online that have to do with body awareness, clenching and unclenching parts of your body, is an attempt to get in touch with that part of your being. For those of you who don't know how to get to the thinking place, maybe you're all a feeler. Lindsay has processed this a ton, so she could definitely give people pointers on how to get from the overwhelming feeling and into a thinking place. But for some of you, it would be to write, because once you get language to feelings, it's starting to access another area. For some of you who don't feel like you have really ever allowed yourself to feel, or you don't feel that much, go ahead and process your thoughts and then move to feeling statements. This is how this makes me feel. I feel this. So often, and this again is very like dualistic kind of thinking, but this would be a I know kind of statement. I know. This would be a I think. This would maybe be an I feel. So hearing the Lord with all three of those statements and talking to the Lord in all three of those statements. And you can practice with your friends. Practice this week with I know, I think, I feel. And that's like a very simplistic way of looking at it, but there's many other practices, but I'm going to turn it over to the Baileys for us to do whatever practice God has planned for us today in our hearing and in our encouraging and supporting of each other. Sorry, in these ways, I think we'll go ahead and turn that off. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I love you a lot. Thanks. In these places, some of our sense of expectation and entitlement we're so devastated from because they were absolutely every right that we had to be entitled to. We are entitled to kindness and goodness. The challenge is that we typically can't force fair and equitable treatment from any other human being. We can't force it. The beautiful part of that is that God never forces it. He never dominates us. So he won't dominate even our being. He allows us to perceive him, to feel him, to think with him by our own choice. He never dominates any of these areas. In fact, it's part of the reason why it's sometimes so hard to hear him, is because he's going, the minute I think a thought with you, it reigns. Not reigns as in rain, but it rules in your thinking. So it's not so easy to know what I'm thinking in things, because the moment I share it with you, or the moment I share a feeling or a knowing, you're going to totally agree with it because it's genius. And so he allows us to come into who he is by invitation, and he doesn't ever take us by force. So this week, I was intrigued by how to let go of an entitlement mindset. And there was an article, and it said, the antidote for an entitlement mindset. And you guys want to know what it was that they said? Anyone guess what the one word answer? Yes. Gratitude, which just so happens to be the word that the Lord gave me for this year, that with my card with gratitude on it. and my bracelet and my everything that the Lord said. So he went ahead and paved the way to, now that doesn't mean that we just go around being abused by people and abused by situations and abused by bosses. It means we deal appropriately with appropriate situations, and then we let the Lord shift us inside and invite us into places where he wants to cultivate gratitude. So there it is.
It reminds me of the great poet Ray Wiley Hubbard, who said, "The days that I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, I have very good days."
Wow. Couldn't be any more attracted to you than I am right now. Okay, here's the baby.
He's just a singer-songwriter, but I call him a poet and it elevates his status.